Hello there, my name is Oliver Hill and this is a demo for a game idea I've had called Anomalous. So I'm just going to skip through various bits, going through it quite quickly. Feel free to pause at any point to read any of the sways of text. They're probably way too long, but Anyway, now to get on with it. So you as the player are caught in a medbay in a space station owned by the benevolent corporation Stelco, who care an awful lot about safety but also about impractical carbon fusion reactors. So, starting in the room, you have a fair few objects to interact with, such as this panel that you can slide away to get a view of space. Not particularly great, but I mean, in the future it could be better. There's also this panel, which I freak out at coming out, which gives an oxygen container, but yeah, that's quite useful. And coming onto the terminals, well, you see that the player's been locked in a room by some random doctor to protect from some sort of contamination. And yeah, what's happened to the player is that they, as an anonymous engineering intern, they were involved in an accident in a maintenance shaft that details are left a bit bland, unclear, in which they fractured the skull and twisted an ankle, which caused some amnesia and, well, quite an unpleasant medbay stay, in which the medical team took quite extensive action that wasn't particularly nice. This bit has the medical logs on what the docs are recording. I said that the subject's lung functionality had been decreasing as a reason to justify why he'd be wearing a rebreather. This little bit is a little bit of a jab at private healthcare, whereas people generally want to keep their jobs and cover things up if they have to. And in this case, it's an extremely impractical solution that just about pays off. So, go to the door, won't open, go to override it, and contact customer support. And as usual, it works very well. The power goes out. So, a lot of alarms, a lot of flashing lights. Yeah, it's not really suitable for, well, see that the reactor's been really messed up, not really surprising, and the player has to go and fix it. So this terminal informs the player about a bit of stuff, just about what the tasks they have at hand, and the guidelines give you a bit of a tip on how to stay alive. I'll go over them later. But for now, I'm running out of oxygen, and I need to just refill it at this tank. It takes a bit of time. I originally intended for the reactor to blow up after a set amount of time, but I sort of ran out of time for that. Bit ironic. So the guidelines, they're trying to add in a bit of humour, and they just give you a bit of hint for staying alive, because this game is actually quite difficult. So going up to this wreckage here, come up to quite a neat gadget, if I say so myself, the rocket-propelled launcher. That isn't a conventional rocket launcher. Well, it does launch rockets, but said rockets are not designed for destroying things, but instead for launching things, such as the player. As in, if you fire one, they can knock you back quite a lot, but they won't hurt you, which is at least quite fortunate. So going into here, the underworks, the floors being destroyed because of pipes exploded. There's a lot of loose wires, which sparking a lot. If you jump down onto this pipe, it slides down, very structurally stable, obviously. Drop down to here, take a bit of damage from the unnamed chemical. And then go to the underworks control terminal, turn the lights on, and here's gravity override. So gravity override, you can go to this terminal and override the gravity, which means that you can set the value of G to be lower than like 9.80107. What this does is that it obviously reduces the level of gravity for vertical motion, and then it also reduces friction, and but also reduces the player's acceleration, which means that it's sort of much slower to get to a running start, but you can get to be quite fast when you're running. Now I've got to fix up some leaks in the lower module of the reactor. There's a lot of liquid metal blow. Definitely not heavily inspired from Terminator 2 and Alien 3. I just think it's quite a nice set piece. So I'm going to take a really impractical solution to getting across, which is using the rocket-propelled launcher to bounce across. There are two other ways to do it. One using a lower platform down below, and the other just going along the pipes you can drop down. And here I can fix the leaks, which they're using water material, so they tend to splash around a lot. And that's it. You've won. And as the player begins to pass out from the heat, they think they've done everything they could to save the reactor and just hope that it won't seriously mess up. But anyway, that's just a secondary reactor. The main reactor has still got a serious problem, and at least if the game ever gets, well, a full version, then it would be a much more expansive space station. I'd like to continue having multiple ways to get around doing things, and adding more utilities. The rocket-propelled launcher doesn't really have too much for use. It's just sort of a fun thing. It's sort of an idea that I got whilst playing another game. I just got a rocket launcher and started firing at my feet. It's a bit of fun. And yeah, well, hopefully in the final version, you're in the station and you've got a full time limit, sort of like in Prince of Persia, or can't really think of other games which have it. And pretty much, you have this time limit to fix the main reactor, and you need to go around and either escape from the ship or try to fix the reactor, and you can go about both of these things in multiple different ways. And I'd say that there could be artificial environments to spice up the level design a bit. There could be all sorts of weird test chambers. There'd be more sorts of weird tools like the rocket-propelled launcher, and I think, yeah, this could work, hopefully. Anyway, thank you for watching, and farewell.